护腿啊。好，董健开始进攻了。
Get ready to laugh, and maybe even learn a thing or two. This video is the ultimate clash of overconfidence versus cold, unforgiving reality. Some folks think all it takes is a few muscles and a sprinkle of courage to stand toe-to-toe with a professional fighter. But once the bell rings, that fantasy comes crashing down fast. Take this guy, for example, walking into a gym with nothing but bravado and delusion. He challenged UFC veteran Chris Curtis. Big mistake. Reality didn't just hit hard.
Get out of there, move. Get out of there, move. Get out of there.
But what happened next? Unreal. Instead of walking away humbled, this guy actually asked Chris Curtis for a debate. That's right. He got physically humbled, then tried to argue his way out of it.
Change your life forever. My God, you put a glove on right now, you will leave this place forever different.
Now let's talk about the next challenger, a bully who drove nearly an hour just to get embarrassed. He walked into a boxing gym thinking his street brawls were enough to take on a real coach.
You never had this before, brother?
No, I have not.
He bragged about street fights, dozens of them. But once he stepped into the ring, it took just one light punch to drop him. Not even full power, just clean technique. Down he went.
You alright?
Then there's the guy who thought sending threats to a pro boxer would be funny. He told him straight up he'd knock him out cold. What he didn't realize? The boxer wasn't joking, and he was more than happy to respond with his fists.
That's it. Oh, all right.
And of course, there's Sean Strickland, one of MMA's most outspoken and polarizing personalities.
I stand corrected. 25 minutes. I was wrong. Have my respect. You're not losing.
Online, people love to talk tough, but there's a big difference between trolling on a keyboard and standing across from a legit UFC fighter. Someone had to find that out the hard way.
There you go.
Now let's head to a parking lot. Yes, you heard that right. Where one cocky dude challenged an MMA fighter to a real fight. Two punches later, he was face down on the pavement. Lights out, game over. Then there's the so-called amateur MMA fighter who walked into a Kyokushin karate dojo ready to prove a point. Physically, he had the advantage. Strong build, athletic frame, but when the fight began, it was clear he trained for the mirror, not for the mat. A ripped guy with no formal training steps up to an MMA fighter. And while he was dominated early, you've got to admit, he showed some grit. He got tossed around, beaten up, but somehow found a second win and briefly turned the tables. Short-lived, but impressive. Now, check this out. A self-proclaimed Sanda master walks into a ring full of confidence. He's convinced his traditional techniques will dismantle a boxer. Spoiler alert, they don't. Instead, he gets outboxed, out-timed, and outclassed.
护腿啊！好，董健开始清，喊的时候停就行啊！好，10到15。
And then there's Charlie Zelenoff, internet troll turned cautionary tale. He had the audacity, the delusion, to challenge Deontay Wilder.
Took care of a lot of people, man, and it just became to a point where I just couldn't.
Let's be clear, Wilder is a former world champion, one of the hardest hitters in boxing history. Charlie? A keyboard warrior with a camera. So when Wilder met him in the ring, there were no words. Just one vicious left hook that knocked Charlie back to reality. He looked terrified, like a child waking from a nightmare he created himself.
He's done. You give up. Let him go.
It's gonna stop.
But apparently, once wasn't enough, because Charlie, in all his wisdom, decided to do it again. This time, against Floyd Mayweather Sr. The result? Total embarrassment, outboxed, outmaneuvered, and forced out of the ring like an uninvited guest. But when Mayweather turned his back, Charlie charged back in, swinging recklessly. That sparked chaos. A bystander jumped into the ring and decked Charlie, putting an end to the nonsense once and for all. Luckily for him, things didn't escalate further. The damage to his pride, permanent.